Good morning. Oh, have you ever heard that song? Good morning, good morning. It's a great big happy day. Oh, I always used to go in with my kids and sing that. Okay, back on track. Good morning. It's a Grow Joy Day, and I'm Cathy Freeman, and I'm going to share some thoughts with you here today. Right, first off, let me say I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're listening right now, I want you to take a deep breath in. And then let it out slowly. Now give yourself a little stretch. Don't worry, we're not going to go into any yoga or anything like that. This is basically just get ourselves going for the day and enjoy this morning time together. I'm so happy to be spending this moment with you. Today we're diving into one of the most important and fundamental concepts in the Grow Joy journaling program. And that's loving yourself as God loves you. That's going to be the theme for this month. The month is February. The month is going to be on love and that connection. And I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about love for self, love for people, love for God. This is all about embracing self-love, recognizing our worth, and being able to see ourselves through God's eyes. Now, I know the idea of self-love can sometimes feel complicated. It's not about being selfish or self-absorbed. That's not what I'm talking about. But rather about acknowledging your worth as God's beloved child. When we accept God's unconditional love, we begin to see ourselves as He sees us, worthy, beautiful, and uniquely gifted. Now, this kind of love isn't earned. It's given to each of us freely. And if I said those words to you and you started denying them and going, or whatever we tend to do, I want you to listen. Just put that aside and listen for a few minutes. When we accept that kind of love, God's love for us, it empowers us to be more confident, compassionate, and creative. Today, I want to share a powerful example of embracing our true worth through the life of Maya Angelou. Now, I'm going to share this story, and I need to read it so that I get it accurate, so please bear with me. Maya Angelou's story is one of profound resilience, wisdom, and love, both for herself and for others. Born into a world filled with hardship, pain, and injustice, she rose above it all to become a celebrated author, poet, and civil rights activist. Despite the struggles she faced in her early years, Angelou came to understand a profound truth about herself. Her worth was not defined by her circumstances. She knew deeply that she was a beloved child of God, just as each of us is. One of the most memorable lessons from her life is the idea of embracing one's own voice. I'm going to say that again, embracing one's own voice. In her famous book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Angelou writes about her childhood trauma, but she also writes about the moment she realized she was worthy of love, respect, and kindness. She found her voice, not just as a writer, but as a person who was truly loved by God. In one of her most inspiring quotes, Angelou said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." I'm going to repeat that one again. That's definitely worth repeating. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. This idea speaks to the heart of self-love and embracing who we truly are in God's eyes. No matter what happens in life, we always have the ability to choose how we respond, to find our power, to love ourselves, and to know that we are worthy of that love. For me, Maya Angelou's life and words remind me that we are more than our past, more than the mistakes we've made in our life, more than the labels others might try to put on us, more than the things that might be happening to us at the current time that we're not really excited about. We are children of God, deserving of love, grace, and forgiveness. No matter what challenges we may be facing right now, whether it's uncertainty, fear, or doubt, Remember that they are not defining us. These struggles as part of the journey, but they do not have to limit our sense of worth, our sense of our capacity to grow. When we embrace this truth, we can tap into a deeper well of joy and peace, just as she did. In fact, it is often thought that through the hardest moments that we are able to fully realize our strength and our divine potential. So just as Maya Angelou rose above her challenges, we too can rise, knowing that we're worthy of all the love, grace, and abundance that God offers. Angelou's message was always clear. I am a child of God. And that is the foundation upon which she built a life of service, growth, and inspiration. So as we reflect on our own journeys today, I encourage you to remind yourself that, just like Maya Angelou, you are worthy, you are loved, and you have a voice that is meant to be heard. There is a divine strength within you. And as you embrace it, you can move forward with confidence, knowing that God sees you for who you truly are, a cherished, unique child of His. So I found an affirmation in my Creative Reminders library that's part of the Grow Joy Journaling program. And I want to share that with you. If you're part of that group, it's number 847 if you want to look it up. And it says this: I am a child of God. I honor and preserve my unique identity, knowing that the tasks I do in my life are both meaningful and important. However, I do not become overly defined by them. I am more than any label or role. I am a child of God, and I remain grounded to that truth, free to evolve and open to the endless possibilities that life offers me. All right, take a moment to breathe that in and let these words really resonate with you. Just think about it for a minute. You are worthy of love. You are loved. And that love from God and from yourself is powerful. Now, I'd like to just do a really quick little art demo to illustrate this in my art journal. And that is part of the Grow Joy journaling process, is to go ahead and illustrate something. So if I could go ahead, I'm going to turn my camera down and just watch me for a few minutes as I go ahead and create this. All right, this is the little journal I'm using. It's got watercolor paper in it. And what I've done is I've started sketching out. I've got this beautiful rose, let me show you, that I picked up the other day. You see that? You see the beautiful, beautiful colors that are in this rose. Just some gorgeous salmons and orange and yellows. And I want to use those colors. They are inspiring me, and I thought they would be beautiful with this. And draw out some roses on this page. And then on this page, I can handwrite it, but I went ahead and I typed out that particular creative reminder, and I'm going to go ahead and place that in there. So I've got this already started, and basically to create the rose, you start in the center, and I'll walk you through with this one right here. You start in the center with a little bit of a circle, and then you start going around it, just squiggly, wiggly, wiggly, okay? So you're going out and coming back in, and going out and coming back in. And then you take it, and I usually start about halfway, and I go down and around. And then I go around, and of course you can make this tighter if you want, but I get impatient and I want to start painting, so I don't usually do that much, that tightness of the rose. This next one, you're going to start out here and just squiggle it out, come around, and bring it past where you started the other one. Then come over here. So you're basically overlapping. That is the key, and you're swooping it out and bringing it back in. The closer you keep it, the tighter it's going to be. And then at some point, you need to loosen up and let it open a little. Let those petals come out. And that might be a little bit big for that one particular petal, so I'm going to go on this side and bring this right in there like that. So that's because really that rose petal's not that big all the way around. Then I'll grab this one, and that rose petal's going to go out here, and it'll come around. It'll be like so. And I'm erasing very lightly because you know you don't really want to erase on watercolor paper. You don't want to lift that up. Then let's just do one more round on this side. Bring it in. And we've got our roses. I like to do groups of 3. We could put some leaves out here. Just kind of the rose leaf is out with a little bit of a point, and then back in like so. Just a little bit of greenery or something to add to it. All right, let's get to the fun part now. The fun part is going to be adding the color. And so I'm going to use watercolor with this. I've got this pack. I've got lots of different ones, but I want to try to mix together my yellows and reds and that and see what I come up with. So I'm going to move this aside. I've got a little medicine dropper here and my water. I've got these little palettes. I'm going to fill them with some water. And of course, while that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put a drop or 2 here on these. Loosen them up. Let them get some water on them. This is my favorite green. I've used it almost all gone. It's nice to have another one in there too. Okay. Grab myself, I like to use round tip brushes. This is a nice one. And I'm going to grab, to start with, I'm thinking about that rose, and it's got the yellow, so let's just start with the yellow and pull that in here first. Wipe it off. I'm going to come over here to this next one and take whatever's yellow that's still in my brush. I'm going to clean my brush out just because I don't want to mix the paints together in the palette over there. Clean out my brush, and I'm going to grab some of this beautiful hot pinky rose. And there that color is. Love that color. It's almost a bit of a red. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in some more yellow. It's going to go towards an orangey color. Let's go over here in this one. This is what's so fun about these palettes is you can just mix yourself up several different. Let's grab that, add a little more pink to that one. See, it's got the yellow mixed into it, so it's going to have that feel. All right. Now, let me clean this up a little bit. Put this over. I want to make sure you can see. And as I look at this rose and it's, you know, it goes down inside, you could come back if you want. The pencil obviously is going to stay now that I've put the water over it. So it's going to act as the defining lines. I'm going to grab that yellow, just a little bit in my brush, all right? And let's put it here on the insides and hit some of these petals. And when I'm working in my journal, this is just relaxing. This is to enjoy what I'm doing and not to really concern myself too much with all the other aspects of, is it perfect? Is it the way it's supposed to be? So I've got the yellow on that. I'm going to let that dry a minute. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over here. I didn't wet this first. Let's go back and do that. Let's wet some of this. Grab that yellow. Like that. And this little guy is like a bud standing up. Might have grabbed some of that orangey yellow. There, we'll grab all of that. Just grab some of the pigment. I went back straight over to the pigment, and I'm going to come back and now I'm just playing. So give yourself permission to just play. And watch that watered, the paint move across the plate, the paper. Grab a little bit more of this. And what I want to do is really let this dry. So because I'm, doing this live for you, I'm going to be using a heat gun, a dryer, which is not typically what you would do when you're creating art. But I need to, just because of the time factor with it. So I'm going to leave that like so. Come back and do the same over here. And really the centers, I'm going to pull some of that out because the centers are a dark, deep, rich, kind of pinky. So I will pull that out. Hit that like so. Let's go ahead and just do a quick little dry. Okay, I want it to be a little bit glistening, but then dry it also. So let's add this next color in. And it's not showing up as much as I'd like, so I'm just going to grab that orange, mix it in with it right here. And it's brighter than what I want it to be. So I'll just take my brush and lift it. I'm being more cautious, more about what petal I'm on right now. And I'm always remind myself when there's something like this and I'm thinking, ooh, that's not exactly what I wanted. I always remember that every piece of art goes through what's known as the ugly stage, which basically means that it's developing and it's growing a little bit, and to just keep working with it and it'll come out. It'll be beautiful. Don't give up on it. See, there it came too bright again, too orangey. And who knows? Maybe this morning this rose wants to be bright and orangey and full of vibrant color. And here I am trying to hold it back to stop its blooming and growth. You never know. Let's put a little bit of this here. Let's just work with it. Let's not fight it. Let's work with it, right? Okay, that went over the line, so I will do that. I'm going to lift, I just take my water and lift it off of that a little bit. What I'm thinking is instead of hitting every single, I'm just going to hit a few of these here with this orange. Okay, let's add this to this. I'm going to be really quick and kind of just hitting areas. Fantastic. Now, let's go ahead and dry that really good. All right, sometimes I do the back like that because it gets, the water just absorbs through that paper and it, you know, helps it to dry a little bit faster, helps it to lay flat. Okay, now let's go in and grab this hot pink. And this hot, I'm going to go right to the color. This hot pink is going to be just on the edges. And it is quite dark what I've got, so I'm going to come back with the brush, wet, no paint on it, but damp, and let's lift, let's kind of blend it a little bit and pull off some of that color. Let it blend down in. Pull it off if you get too much. Just your brush, no water in it, no color, absolutely no color. Maybe a little damp. And that's drying up there, so grab a little more of the pink. So I bring back some of the yellow I've got, and it creates that wonderful salmon color. There's a mixture of the pink and the orange. And I'm going to go back in, just hit some spots here. Make it a little darker, create that shadows. All right. This one, I'm going to obviously now, before this one dries too much, let me grab some water. Let's loosen it. I want that crisp edge, but I want it to blend in. So I'm going to scuff it, you know, kind of mush it, scuff it back and forth, just to get it to go down. Just like that. Grab some water. I'm not going to outline as much as I did this one. I'm going to, because it dries too fast. So I'm going to work with it. Too much water on my brush there. Let's take some of that off. Throw that in there like that. It's also fun to come back, grab some of that orange again, and reintroduce that in a few spots. Yeah, this is going to turn out to be a lot brighter than that's just great. I'm going to turn this for my left hand. That's perfect. Just a little bit of wetness and a little bit of color. So I'm going to tap it with the color and it'll take off because it's already pretty wet. And I'll just wet this area just a little bit, just kind of outline it. See, this whole thing is just experimenting back and forth. Just kind of, you know, see what you get. And playing with it. And really what I'll end up doing is working with this, you know, throughout this week and refining, adding some more details here and there, rather than just finishing it all up in one sitting. So now I'm going around and hitting and putting the color on where some of those are supposed to be. And that's starting to bleed the wrong direction. So grab it. And if, you know, I do have some wonderful watercolor pencils, this would be a great spot to, because you could use their fine tips to go around and create the detail, and then there. And I want to do a little more to that, but I'm going to leave that, let that dry, I'm going to add some orange to it. Just add a little more, kind of balance it out by putting some of that orange over here. I'm going to let that dry, and I'll come back and work on it some more, and then I'm going to post it. All right, how fun was that? I'd love to see your creations. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. What matters is that you've taken the time today to celebrate yourself through art. This month of February, I am launching that new program and introducing it, so you're going to hear more about it. How do you find it? Go to CathyFreemanArt.com. On my front page, you will notice, you'll see there'll be a little thing that talks about on there, a little image that talks about the Grow Joy journaling. You can click on that and find out more information about it. All right, if you've enjoyed this episode, I invite you to come back on Tuesday mornings here, 9 o'clock Central, and I will be creating and sharing some things from my own journal. This is a special space where you'll receive monthly creative prompts and reflective, some of the things that I put in my journal, and exercises, things that inspire me, and I hope that they'll inspire you as you build a life of joy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's remember to treat ourselves with kindness and compassion, and know that we are worthy of God's unconditional love. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, it's a Grow Joy Day. I'm Cathy Freeman, Cathy Freeman Art. You can find this episode in my little art village, which is go to myartsisters.com. When you see the little Cathy's Glamper, click on it, and that's where you'll find this episode. Talk to you later.